WION Broadband Edition, presented by Vedantu. India. Get free live online courses.
Hello and welcome to episode 25 of the WION Sports Broadband Edition. With me, Digvijay Singh Deo. My guest today is the chief coach of the Indian women's hockey team. Sjoerd Marijne joins me from Bengaluru. Sjoerd, good to have you back on WION. How's it been? How's this period been for you?
Yeah, it's a long period. We are already 9.5 weeks in quarantine. So it's very long, challenging period. Let's say it like that.
Okay, but before I get on with this interview, Sjoerd, I must applaud you and through you, the women's hockey team, for the amazing work that they have been doing, raising money to feed people who are really at the moment struggling to make ends meet. It's truly a remarkable kind of a thing that all of you all have done.
Thank you very much for that. I'm very proud of the girls, how they have took this to a higher level and almost raised 20 lakhs for the people. And I think in these times, you must help on another way and try to see what is possible instead of only thinking about what is not possible. And the girls did a really great job.
Okay, so just share with us, how did this entire idea come about? Who are the players who are driving this entire sort of challenge forward? Because the goal was to raise 20 lakhs. The last one I saw, you already crossed 19, so just about the finishing post in sight.
Yeah, we are almost there. It's more or less like we are in camp. We can't do so much. We can do individual fitness, as you know. And I was thinking like, okay, on what way can we still be helping society and helping poor families? And then I saw this one. So I brought up the idea about the fundraising. And the team was really keen. It was not just a few players, but they all were really keen. But they were not really familiar with the concept of fundraising. So we helped them, Janneke Schopman and Wayne Lambert, with some ideas. But at the end, the team came themselves with this idea to help the poor families and provide food. So that was really good. And they also thought about what kind of challenges they would do. Of course, they had help from Wayne Lambert in this. And then the all everyday activities it's led by Vandana and by Sushila. They take the lead in this one. And that's very nice to see. And all the girls are really motivated to do it as good as possible. Takes a lot of time to nominate 10 people to make the videos. But they are enjoying it. And we sometimes get pictures of what they achieved, and that the food is brought to the families, and then you see the pictures, and then you know why you're doing it. And I think it's always good to understand in which situation you are. We are in a good situation in a health environment. Every day we have food, and not everybody has that. So it's good to always be in the reality.
Okay, we still have just a bit left. So, Sjoerd, why don't you take this opportunity to address our viewers and also those who are watching on our digital platforms to help out? So just you can go ahead and share what they have to do.
Now, if I can speak to everyone, please realize for yourself in which situation you are. If you have everyday food, it's not normal for everyone. And these families really need the food, they need the supplying. And we are almost there. Please support us, and please support the girls to raise the 20 lakh. Would be great if we achieve it. Thank you very much.
Okay, hopefully we are able to get that out of the way in just 24 hours from now. I think that first goal should be over. But Sjoerd, how's it been for you? Because you've got family back in the Netherlands. So how are they, and are you in touch with them daily?
More than daily, I think 3-4 times a day, calling FaceTime. That's something we always already did. But my situation was always that I was 3-4 weeks away, maybe sometimes more. And then at least 1 week home. So for us as family, it's very challenging. Also because my wife is all by herself now. And yeah, she has to protect herself really well, because if she gets sick, nobody is there to help her. So she is very protective in this area. But most important for us is everybody is in good health, and yeah, as long as we can have contact, we will also manage this situation.
Okay, well, you had tickets, in fact, in March to go back home for a small break, but you decided, looking at the situation, looking at the travel restrictions, that you would stay back in India, and then this entire pandemic sort of exploded around the world with so many issues. Do you regret that decision not to fly at that point of time, or do you think you did the right decision, that you did the best thing to stay in Bengaluru in sort of a quarantine camp going on, so it's best for you at the moment to be where you are?
No, on that moment, on that time, it was the best decision, and still I think it was the best decision, because we were able to still train 2 weeks more. And if I was in Netherlands, that didn't feel really well. We are also here a big family, and you go together and you stay together. So if the girls had to stay, I also had to stay. And so yeah, it is how it is. But yeah, these are also the consequences about the team.
Okay, fair enough. It's good to see you sticking by your team in these tough times. We're just talking about sport back in the Netherlands, because lots of things happening. You said that they're slowly opening up sport, but the Eredivisie, the Premier Football Division in your country, has decided that they're going to suspend the season. But what I really liked about that decision was that both Ajax and Alkmaar, who were sort of jointly in the lead, they decided that it's okay, that sport isn't that important right now. And even though both had a chance to be crowned champions, and you know how prestigious it is to be crowned champion in your country in football, they decided, no, it's okay, let's watch the season.
Also about those decisions, a lot of discussion is going on in Netherlands. It's not that easy as you said, because not everybody is happy with that decision. For me, personal, I don't have a real opinion about that. I'm not there, and I can't judge about what is good or what is wrong decision about that.
Okay, now I was just asking as a fan, as somebody
Okay,
associated with high profile sport.
you can ask everything you want.
Okay, but you know, there's already talk now in certain countries in Europe that sport should resume, and it should resume behind closed doors, especially football, because you know that's where a lot of money is at stake. Where do you stand on that? Should sport resume right now, considering the way the virus is still there? Do you think it should start?
Yeah, the most important thing in this is the government, and that's also in Netherlands, and that's also here. They are leading, and we have to follow them. We are waiting from their guidelines, and those guidelines are leading. And my opinion is not important in this, because it's something bigger than only this. It's not our only sport. Yes, of course, we would love to start playing, because we are in a closed environment. But it's not on us, and that's also playing international matches. We don't know if it's going to happen this year. FIH has people who are think about these kind of things, and that's why for us as coaches we can think a lot of things and we can say a lot of things. But I don't think that on this moment it's important what we think. Yeah, they have to guide us through this period.
Yes, and you're right. The governments have to take the lead. The governments have to decide if it is safe or not. But there is a rather peculiar situation which we are seeing at the moment, short, and that is that with most of the world indoors, everyone's craving a bit of sporting action. So there is the talk is that let's have sport behind closed doors. At least everyone who's at home will get some kind of sporting action to watch. You will sort of lift their lives as well. But the problem here is, and you know this better than me because you work in a team sport, that just to organize a training session or to play a match, you just can't have 18 players turn up. There are so many other people who are around the team as well. So it's a catch-22 situation as well, that while you may think about the fan, think about the revenue, but you're also putting those many people, say 50, 60 people, who are going to be at the ground at that point of time at risk.
Yeah, that's like the main thing is how much risk do you want to take? What is allowed? These are important things now, and these things are not for me to answer on the moment. And that's, I know you want to hear something else, but this is greater than sport. Yeah, and that's why what I said, we have to follow the guidelines of the government in this, and they try to do their best for everyone. And yes, for everyone in the world, it's frustrating, and also for us, of course. Yeah, but we also realize we are in a good environment. We are safe. The families are safe, and that is for now the most important. We all have to have patience because we can think, what if this, what if that, but what if doesn't exist in my world. Yeah, what if doesn't say anything to me. That's the same now with planning the future. Yeah, what if we can play in the next 3 months? What if after 5 months? We don't know. We just have to be patient, and we have to wait. What is going to happen? What will be the guidelines? When can we play again international? So planning tours and planning for next year Olympics, that's very difficult. Yeah, because if you're doing that, you have a lot of what ifs, and what if in life doesn't say anything.
Okay, that's a fair point which you make, and as you said, patience is something, but we TV anchors and reporters usually try to probe your patience. Not so well answered, I must
I,
say.
I,
Yeah,
I
well answered.
understand, but you can see a lot of good matches like the Olympic qualifiers over and over.
Yeah.
But it's for everybody. It's a struggle, and that's what I try to say. The struggle is for everyone on a different way. I hear stories that a friend of mine, her mother died, and nobody could be at the funeral. These are completely other stories in this whole coronavirus. So where are we standing in sport? Yeah, that's why I think the patience now is the most important thing.
But there's already talk, as you say, there are lots of ifs as to when what will happen. But there's already people who are looking ahead to a time when sport will resume, when the world slowly gets back to normal. Social distancing will be the norm. Do you think that your sport of hockey will have to readjust as well? Because in hockey, you see matches, you're there at the pitch side and the team sitting on a bench. You think all of that's going to change? Like in tennis or in badminton, there's already talk that the handshake between the players and umpires, these small things may not happen. So every sport will have to readjust, looking at the way to keep the players and the officials and the coaches like you to keep them safe.
Yeah, but that's what I also try to say. Like, we don't know how the situation is in 2 months. Maybe there is a vaccine, yeah, and then all these what ifs, we don't need it, and that's why on this moment, this stage, it's too early to say things about this if our sport's going to change. No, I don't think so, but we have to wait. What will FIH do? What will the national government do from India in these kind of things? So, yeah, it's it's too early to say something about that.
Okay, so let me draw you in on something. I did an interview earlier this week with Siegfried Eichmann, who's the coach of the Japan men's hockey team. Now, see, and I asked him about the Olympic postponement. He said the problem with Olympic postponement is that it throws team dynamics, at least for him, out of the window because a lot of players had planned to end their careers or had significant plans after the Olympics. And he says all that for the coaches right now, there is more extra work to plan all of that. How are you looking at the road ahead for your team for the next 15 months till the Olympics?
Personal with me, it works like this. There's disappointment, but after 3 seconds, my head starts thinking in solutions. And solution is we have a lot of young players. We can have one more year longer. Janneke Schopman is a really big add to the team. And my analytic coach, she has been here from January. We can have her longer now. So these are extra all points what can help us to become even better. We don't have players who want to retire after Olympics. So on that way, a lot of plus points. But of course, some players were really disappointed, and you have to manage with that. The period to the Olympics is much more longer, and the athletes know, okay, instead of only training 3 months for the Olympics more, we have to train again 15 months for the Olympics. But we are dealing with those circumstances. We do that by mindfulness. That's how we are training the team. And mindfulness is not only on the pitch, but also off the pitch. The situation is the way it is. You can't change the situation. Yeah, you have to deal with the facts. And that's what the girls are learning, how to deal with this. And it's about accepting. And that's what we all do. And what I said, my mind works in solutions, and solutions are, yeah, I see a lot of potential, even more growing And of course, important will be playing a lot of matches, but yeah, we also have to see if that is possible.
It's interesting because everyone who's associated with Indian hockey has been telling me, and you've sort of seen the curve of this team slowly go up, that they were starting to peak for the Olympics. And now, as you said, the next we've got 12 more months. This could be actually work out in the favor and put you right up there. So not just whispers everywhere as you're getting into the Olympics, proper medal contenders, as you said.
Yeah, but a lot of will depend on the program. Like training 50 months will not, it will be better, but you need matches, and that's where we have to wait. How the situation is developing in the world now, and that's one of the, and that's for every country, of course. So that's not only for us. But yeah, I see potential to grow even more. And important now is when the lockdown has gone and travel is allowed, that the girls really need a rest. They all need to go. Staff needs to go. We need a mental break because the work still in the camp. We are now more than 9 weeks in camp. Yeah, and now it's the moment. They did really well. I'm very proud of the girls because it's not easy day in, day out. Every day they're physical training, individual. But the moment has been coming slowly to the team, like they need to go to their families.
Yes, you obviously are looking forward to going back home as well. But do you think that for you as the coach, as the head of this family, the head of this team, it's actually going to be a bit of a journey into the unknown? Because, as you said, there are lots of ifs and buts. But when you plan for an Olympic campaign, like you were planning for the Olympics in August this year, you knew and you sort of had targets and you knew where the team had to go. Right now, you don't know. It's a journey into the unknown. You don't know till when you will be able to go home. You don't know till when you will be able to start training properly. You don't know when you'll be able to travel abroad for matches, because you and I both know you just can't keep training in camps and going into the Olympics. That every team in the world needs competition, every player in the world needs competition, even if it's a Roger Federer.
Of course, but here comes the area about mindfulness. I'm only busy with what I can control. And what can I control is the daily sessions and what is allowed and what is not allowed. So on this moment, we do the individual strength sessions so they don't lose too much muscle mass. Yeah, they do those kind of things. They are learning about the opponents, which are the important players from other countries. So these kind of things I can control on the moment, and that's what I'm busy with. Everything what I can't control, it goes away. It goes away from me because it takes away energy from me. It brings frustration to people, and that's what you want to avoid. And that's why it's so important with the mindfulness. Only be busy what you can control and accept what how the situation is. And and my positive mind is always okay. What can we do and what can make this situation better? Now you're talking about the fundraising. This is another aspect of life. I believe in athletes that they are not only must be busy with their sport, but also always be aware how lucky they are in the situation they are. And you don't always realize that in a camp, but now they do realize with the fundraising that other people have it much worse. And a lot of the players, their families come from really poor backgrounds, so they know. But it's good to give a signal as a team. Like, listen, we also do care about other things because we love all sport. Indians love sport, but we also know sometimes there are more important things, and that's going on now.
Okay. A couple of suggestions have come forward in the last couple of weeks. One was from Pulela Gopichand, who is the chief badminton coach, and then the Indian Olympic Association as well, sort of wrote to the sports ministry saying that it's time to put all Indian athletes, especially the Olympic hopeful and those who've already qualified for the Olympics, perhaps it is time to bring them together into a quarantine camp. There are lots of these huge campuses across the country, so that you are sort of the players are safe and they can continue and resume their training as someone who's been in part of a sort of a quarantine camp, because you're in the Sai campus in Bangalore for a while now, as you said. You think that is the way to go. You have these great campuses, let's use them, because across the world there are not many countries who have such facilities. We can afford to do that. Is that the right thing to do so that you slowly start building all athletes across sports, start to build their fitness and everything back?
Yeah, as you said, we are now 9.5 weeks in camp, and from the 9.5 weeks, we are 7 weeks in quarantine, and that's 2 weeks longer than everyone in India. But we have to deal with the guidelines from the government. It would be really helpful if we can play hockey, but we have to wait for this. And so what you're saying is already happening here because nobody goes in or out in this camp. We are very safe. Yeah, we hope that this is going to happen.
No, but what I wanted to ask you was, from this experience that you have, do you think that it's time now that all athletes across sports are put into quarantine camps so that their training can go on? Because that's an advantage India will then have over many other sports persons or from other countries.
Yeah, we don't have the advantage for other countries because in Netherlands they already started, in Germany they started, in Belgium they started. They don't only have these big centers, but they go in and go out. So it's an advantage you can use, but it's for me difficult to say something about this in what the government of India must do. Yeah, I think when the situation is getting more calm, I think this will be a perfect moment to have a look again to the situation of many athletes and how can they pick up their training again.
Okay, I always like to end on an optimistic note. So, Sjoerd, this tough period, what has this taught you? You've been around the world. You've sort of coached teams here and there. You've coached national teams in big tournaments as well. What has this period sort of taught you? A lesson?
Yeah, good question. It's you have to deal with the situation the way it is. You can get frustrated, but it's not going to help you. You have to stay in your moment. And I'm comparing it a little bit with a cyclist who would like the Tour de France. If you go up the Alpe d'Huez, the big mountain, and you're cycling upwards, yeah, you can really look up to the highest, to your end point. Oh, I have to cycle all the way to the top. Yeah. Or the other option is you just look 1 meter or 2 meters in front of you. Yeah. And then for you, the goal is every time really short in front of you. Yeah. Because I want to go fast to that point. And that's what we are doing in this camp. That's personal, what I'm doing. I'm not too much thinking, when can I go home? Because if I'm going to start thinking like this, I'm going to get emotional because it takes a very long time and I miss my family. I keep day by day and not looking forward. And that's helping me, that's helping the girls on the moment the best.
Okay. Sjoerd Marijne, it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you after a long time. Hopefully we can do more of this in person, but for that I think we'll have to wait. As you said, lots of ifs and buts surrounding travel, but I think from me and from all our viewers, I think once again, do reach out to your team when you see them and tell them that they've been doing an absolutely brilliant job, and all of us are so proud of what this team has done. They've not let the limitations of being in a quarantine camp stop them from doing good at a time when the world needs it the most. Stay on track for Tokyo 2021, and hopefully this break actually, as you said, turns out to be the best thing that happened for Indian women's hockey, and we'll see the results at the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. Thank you so much, Sjoerd.
You're welcome. Thank you, and please all donate.
WION Broadband Edition, presented by Vedantu. India, get free live online courses.